Alright, so here I am. Hopefully my microphone's working. Hopefully you guys can see me. And I am testing new software again. So let me just take a look. I'm going to be doing some inking, so if you guys are watching and wondering, like, what are you doing?
At Planet Fitness, you can get everything you need for just...
I'm going to be inking, so I'm just checking here. But I will. Then you got to start an advertisement at the beginning of my video. So I will be inking. Oh, my video's right here. In just a minute. Alright, so yeah, it looks like it's live. Alright, so yeah, it looks like it's live. You can hear me? Cool. Alright, so yeah, it looks like it's live. You can hear me? Alright. So I'm going to get started inking. And you guys will be able to hear me over here. But let me turn the camera over to where I will be. That's going to be me right there working. Alright, so let's get started. Hop on the drafting table. Hopefully you guys can hear me better now. Actually, maybe even if I bring the mic down a little bit more, right? Just adjusting the mic. Sorry if it's making noise. Alright, so this, you can hear me better with me here. Alright, so the reason I'm testing again on the microphone, look at that, I got my what you call these, glasses. Alright, the reason that I'm working on testing all this stuff again is because I couldn't get this image to flip properly in the software that I was using to stream. So I had to do a whole new setup and all new software to stream. So everything's all set up again. Not all set up, but I've got a new setup, new software, and I'm going to have to get a new subscription to something different, switch over in order to be able to do this, to be able to flip the image. This was the only software that allowed me to have total control of the image and flip it. Otherwise, my webcam had this thing upside down. So here's a baby food jar. All I do with it is I fill it with water. So I'm going to put that on the side over here with water. And I've got my own little ink jar that I fill with ink right over here. It's tiny. This is what it looks like underneath. So I fill this with ink, and I'm going to open that up. This is how I get ready to ink every day. I sit down here and I have to open up these bottles. The ink that I'm using, they're not a sponsor, but Koh-i-Noor, if you guys are interested, I buy the big bottle of Koh-i-Noor. You can find it anywhere. Black India ink, universal. It works great with the quill, works great on brush, works great on the synthetic brushes like this. If you get these Japanese synthetic brushes, that ink works great. I have a bright light over my head. You can see in the shot, if you look to the bottom right corner, you can see up there, there is the bright light. I wonder if I can highlight you guys in the chat. I've not used this software. I wonder if I can show it somehow. I can see you guys, but I haven't figured out how to pull up the chat. So I apologize there, guys. I don't know how to do that yet, but I'll figure it out how to pull up the chat and everything. But I can see you guys in the chat, so I appreciate that. So you can see the bright light up above. This ink is not that reflective, so it allows me to be able to see while I'm working. Putting on the glasses. And these glasses too block out blue light, and they help me with that bright light above my head. So then I have all my artwork. My artwork goes taped down like this with this low adhesive. and low adhesive artist tape. Take out my 102. And I'm going to do a couple of, I was using it earlier today, so, you know, I generally don't have to. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys, I'm using new software, so if you guys, oh yeah, you could hear me earlier. I checked it right earlier. So I'm going to go through, throw a couple of little lines. So that's a 102. You guys can see real quick, you know, how I'm throwing some of these lines on here. If it's not super clear, let me know. This is brand new software. So basically what I'm doing is I'm going to, you know, stream this because I could film it and record it, but then it's not the same as live stream because the live stream has to encode, the software has to encode the video. You got certain bit rates. You know, you've got the latency, you've got, and I want to be able to play it back and to see on different devices how it all looks, so I can set up the best viewing experience for you guys. You know, all right. So maybe I will zoom in a little more right here for you. So you guys can see the art of just a little closer. What I'm going to be doing, I'm just kind of letting this stuff dry right here. It's still a little bit wet, the lines that I just threw down here. You know, they're still a little wet. You know, not too bad. The ink dries fairly quickly. You can just see the lines that I just threw on there. You know, just quick little lines. But I'm going to go up and I'm going to ink this hand right here. I want you guys to be able to see the way I'm going to throw my lines. And you guys can see how I work traditionally. So I'm going to be doing traditional drawings. I'll be inking traditionally, doing more of that. And I also do digital. I'm not abandoning digital, but I am going to do more traditional for you guys. So here we go. I'm going to throw a couple of these lines and then I'll explain what they are. So these are bleed lines Dave likes to do, Dave Finch. He likes to do these bleeds out of a nice solid black. So he has these these shapes that he spots, you know, solid black. And what he does is he will use the solid black area where the hard shadows are, and then he uses rendering these bleeds to feather out of that to also to show the contour and the shape of the object. So his rendering is there for a reason. It's not just a bunch of lines to just fill up space to make it appear that there's detail, you know. So what he's doing is actually using his rendering to add form and shape and textures. So I'm going back in, kind of sculpting and clean up those lines. I spotted that the dark shape earlier, black, before doing the rendering. I don't usually do that. I just did that for the demonstration on the live stream. And now I'm kind of having to work with it. You know, it was a bit tougher to do it that way. So a couple of tricks when you're inking. And oh, I did see Efren was here, man. So hello, appreciate that you guys are here saying hello. Appreciate everybody popping in. So if you are just joining, this is a 102 Crow Quill. I'm going to clean it again, just because I'm doing more talking, and if I move through it faster, my ink doesn't dry in the quill, and I can just keep going, and I dip it and keep going. But if I stop and talk, that ink kind of hardens a little bit inside the quill, and it kind of blocks it. So I'm going to start putting little, what we call holding lines, but basically it's like a little bounding line that will fence in where I'm going to go back in and darken, fill in and spot the darker shapes. And then I render out of it, put in those cool little bleeds and lines that Dave has in his work. Cool little stuff, in the rendering here. So you want to keep in mind the entire drawing, right? You want to keep in mind what Dave has done with his rendering. So I don't want to start changing the rendering. I want to make it, I want to help improve it, make sure it's taking the shape and the contour of the object underneath, right? Because none of this drawing is flat. It's on two-dimensional paper, but each part of the drawing has a plane on it. There's different shapes that are underneath, and like his fingers are basically like sausages. They're like cylinders. The line's got a contour to the shape of that object. It's also depends on the light source, on where the shadows are going to be. So you got to keep all that in mind. And I'm here to enhance all that. So I've got to make sure that I continue the same style of line work and rendering, that I'm not trying to add cross hatching here when it's all bleeds here, and you don't want to change up the rendering that the penciler has done. You want to stay with it, stick with it, stay uniformed. You want to harmonize with your penciler, and or if it's your own work, So I'm kind of, and I study some of Dave's work. I've been studying it for quite a long time. Very familiar. Dave is, of course, my favorite artist. I'd be happy if I was just inking Dave's work full time. That would be my dream job, doing that. I'd be happy just being the inker over Dave's work. And so, second, I've got other artists, who I like. And then third, of course, I love John Buscema, Neil Adams, Mark Silvestri, all these other guys, in there. But Dave being at the top of my bucket list of people to ink. So I studied his work a lot, and I'm pretty familiar with how his rendering goes. Of course, being friends with Dave and, hanging out with Dave and getting to talk art with him, and having inked him a couple of, I've inked him at least a dozen times professionally. I'm becoming more and more familiar with his work and getting better and better at it. It takes a while to really adapt to a certain artist. But I think, I've got the groove now. I know more or less, what he's looking for. And it changes. He's an artist. And, as artists, we change our styles. So what we like can change. And and that's okay. And so as that changes for him, I learn, what Dave likes on his work. This is his work, and I'm just finishing it by inking it. So I want to stay true to what he's put down. I don't want to deviate from his end goal of what the art was intended to look like. And of course, I add my interpretation. So this is, me interpreting Dave's pencils and his rendering style. So I'm a different artist, a different eye than he is. It's not going to be exact. Sometimes that's good, because there are things that I can do that Dave doesn't know how to do in his work with the quill. So sometimes I do something just a little different than what he had envisioned initially, and it works out. Sometimes he'll say to me, "Whoa, I really like it. You really elevated this part right here, or that other part." He's got certain things that he likes about my work that I do. So that's my goal, is to have more of that. Have him much more happier with the final result. But we're two different people, so I can't read his mind, but I have studied his work a lot. So I get pretty close to, each time giving him something that he's satisfied with, And the tough part is I'm inking over a blue line print, because I've already inked this. We did this back in when Radiant Black first launched. Dave and I did this cover. So it's already in print. I've already inked it. But when I'm inking now over the blue line, it's a bit tough, because you really can't. You lose some of the energy from the pencils inking over blue line. So if you guys really like the work I'm doing over this blue line, imagine if it was the actual pencils. I could see all his underdrawing, all his rendering, all the different shades and hues that are in all the values in the grayscale. And that gives me more information that I can work with, and I can interpret the art much easier, much better. But inking over blue line, you lose those values. It's all basically just one hue, one color blue, and you lose some of that where, there's areas where he lightens up with a pencil, or he puts more weight on the pencil, and stuff like that gets lost in this. So you don't really get to it's things can get lost in translation because of that. And then some things like blend in when it's in the blue, it loses some stuff to it. So, but it's a good way to practice having the non-photo blue. You're not damaging anything. Ink it a few times if you want. Nobody will know, unless you're on a live stream. you know. And people are like, hey, didn't you ink that already? Am I blocking? Can you guys see? Sorry if my head gets in, my hat gets in the way. So after a while, inking with the quill gets real easy, and you get more comfortable with it. It's you learn how to control the nib and master the nib, and what we call manipulating. You learn to manipulate the nib to get it to bend to your will. You're not at the mercy of the nib, you're in control of the nib, right? That's the goal. That's where you want to be. But you get there by years of practice and experience. And reality is you learn to lighten up on your hand. It's the hand weight. It's the control of your hand and your arm. Better hand-eye coordination you have, really the easier it is to pick up a quill and a brush to work with. You know, if you got a light hand, it's a lot easier that way. I have small little girly hands for being a man, and you know, I got brothers. They always made fun of me because I got girly hands, but these girly hands were made to be like a surgeon or an artist, an inker. And these hands can be gentle, you know. They're light, they're gentle. So I'm putting all these little like lines down. I'm gonna build up to the rendering that Dave has on here. Normally I'm just throwing my lines really fast. I'm dipping in more ink because my ink in my bottle, I'm too lazy right now to fill it back up. It's getting low. So when I dip my quill, I'm not dipping it that far. So it's not getting that much ink. I'm kind of starving the quill, which is not good. It's harder to ink that way. I need to put in more ink, and I will here in a minute. You'll see me on the little camera window. You'll see me. I'm going to right now I'm going to drop in more ink here in a minute. Alright, so I'm going to throw a couple little shapes. I'm just going to grab a little more ink. Start rendering out some of these lines. Alright, let's see. Start with a thicker. With a little bit of a thicker line, and then go thinner. There's a gradation that was required there. I'm just going to shape them again a little bit. And then the crazy thing is now the gradation goes the other way on this different finger. But I guess because they bend and the light source is affected by it. So here's the gradation. Throwing down a couple little lines. And I'm going to fill that bottle now with ink, so I don't have to keep, otherwise I got to keep filling it. So here's the, if you look on this little camera down here where you can see me in the blue shirt, so here's the bottle. It has a little, underneath there, you flip it up. I'm going to flip it away from the art because it will start to flow out really quickly. So I don't even squeeze it, I just tilt it over and it starts to pour out, and then I squeeze it to get just a little bit more out. I'm going to use I have a little rag over here to dry it. Let's put this back. And now my ink bottle is full. It's filled with ink. Let me see if you guys are, I'm going to say hi to you guys real quick. And then I'm going to come back. We're going to ink some more, and I'll show you guys. We'll let that little part dry right there on the fist. So if you look down on the fist, that's what I just inked. You guys can stare at that for a minute if you want. I need to test my microphone and stuff so you guys can see me down here. I'm now going to switch microphones. Say hi to you guys. So hopefully you guys can hear me now with this. I'm in a new microphone right here. Get a little bit of light going. Move my little face back there. All right. Say hi to you guys. I don't know how to light the highlight the chat, but I see you guys, and I'm going to learn how to do this soon. But I do see Alpha Channel says Jimmy, traditional inking, nice. And Iggy Shear says thanks Jimmy at Traditional Inking. Tankford Ahoy, and Sagacious Scalawags, and Punk Face says hello art dude friends, and Hellboy Hendrix, sup Jimmy. Punk Face again, see ya Tank. I guess Tank popped out. Mike Wilson Art says excellent Jimmy. And yeah, man, appreciate that. Billet says I see you too, but only when I look down. It's a short joke, I think. All right, so I'm just testing this microphone. Hopefully, you know, when I watch this stream back, I can test all the software and everything. Got my cool little talk scene. You guys can see my big face right here when I talk to people. And then here's the draw scene. But all right, let's go back to that. Oh, I accidentally had two microphones on. Hopefully there wasn't an echo or anything. So anyway, here's the single microphone by itself, me talking in this one. So let's go back over there. I'm going to do some more inking, because that's what you guys are here for. You know, I'm looking up the screen. Wow, look at that. That's amazing inks. Man, no wonder you guys are watching. I'd be watching this channel too right now. I'd be like, wow, look at that rendering. Look at the lines. How does this guy do it? Well, let's find out. Let's go over there. I'm going to go see. All right. All righty. Let's get back to work. My nice little pillow for my back. See that? Now I got to hop up on here. Oh. Yeah. Getting up. It's not easy hopping up on this chair. Put on my glasses like grandpa. Abuelito, if you guys know Spanish. Abuelo. Abuelito is kind of a cuter little name of abuelo. Alrighty. So I inked a little bit up in here. I'm gonna, clean it out a little bit with some white out to help the feather in the rendering a little more in a minute. But I'm gonna spot some more black right now. Spot some shapes real quick. This is a synthetic little brush. It's not a Kolinsky. It's just a quick little synthetic brush that holds India ink surprisingly well. And it is really good. It's very inexpensive. It has a cap on it. You can travel with it if you want to. I, of course, just use it to spot shapes because it's cheap and I don't have to fray and damage my expensive brushes. And honestly, cheap can be good. So I'll just spot some shapes in here. And the quill, I can get in with the quill. Really nice light hand. Getting in a really cool, even this camera, I'm streaming in 1080p with the camera, and even with the camera, you guys can't even see all the fun little line work and stuff that I've done in this. Sadly, some of that gets lost in here. You know, it's got a cool little line work. Take my word for it. You know, little details that even the camera at 1080p is not picking up. You know. So when you ink traditionally, it takes time, takes patience, can't rush. I know we've all watched Dave's live stream when he does those commission things, and he's inking those under 2 hours time, but that's not what he would do for his actual work. You know, his actual work takes longer. So know that if it takes you longer, it's okay. Speed comes over time. What's important while you're working is to learn as you're working, to observe, you know, be present in your drawings, to be aware, and learn as you're going. And speed will come. You know, you'll get fast as you get more and more comfortable, and we can zip through stuff a little faster. You know. Oh, I'm not using the right quill. I gotta change these quill color. Oh no, I did change the quill color. I just grabbed the wrong quill. And here's the one I need. It's the green with the green handle. The green handle is my 102. So when you're inking, traditionally the lines are going to be perfect. They're not going to be super clean. That's what makes them beautiful, you know, is the fact that there's a little bit of a shake, a little bit of an imperfection in the line. That's what makes it beautiful. When I'm digital, I'm working hard to try to not make my lines so clean, and they constantly come out very, you know, clean. I have to work against that so that it looks more traditional. If I'm going to go through that trouble and doing that, why not just do traditional artwork, right? So I just thought to myself, you know, but I want to, not only do I want to share with you guys how I do stuff traditionally, not only that, but maybe I'm whipping out these tools because I might be inking somebody again. And maybe I'm freshening up, practicing, shaking off the dust. You know, but no matter what, I'll still be doing Dragon Rage. I love Dragon Rage. Dragon Rage is my it's my baby. I'll always be doing something with it. All right, so I'm gonna ink this rock texture here. You spot a lot of black. There's a lot of little cool speed lines in it. Dave doesn't really render in solid blacks in his shapes, right? He likes to spot his shapes, spot meaning it's a solid black shadow. Sometimes I can add a little rendering in those shapes, like this being a rock that's being blasted out of the ground. So you could put some of this rendering, these lines in there, not a solid black, to help create the illusion, the effect of momentum. So I can see his little shapes here that he's got, a little bit of white gap right there. So I want to start rendering that right there, these little lines. It's got cool little shapes in here. Let's get these lines. Let's see if maybe I can even zoom in a little more and you guys can maybe see a little more. There. So I'll try to go up a little bit right there. That's going to be the spot where I'm inking, in case you guys are wondering. But there's cool little shapes in here, and you just work with the shapes. So I like it like this because the light doesn't affect my eye, reflect off the ink. So sorry if it goes off camera for a bit, it might. So I just think of like, I'm trying to look at all the little shapes that he puts in his work. You got to be aware of this, of the stuff that, you know, the penciler's putting down. You don't want to, if you shift a line just a little bit, that alters the drawing. So you want to try to keep that down as minimal as possible. You know, you don't want to trace the work, but you want to be aware of the form and shape that the penciler's put in. And you want to help enhance all of that. It's got a bunch of cool little shapes and lines, and there is a lot of little like broken gaps in it too, which is super cool. Little chips and stuff. You just want to be aware of all that. There's another one right here. So I'll keep it still for a minute if you guys want to be able to see some of like the rendering stuff that I do. And right here, this one's a solid black that's behind these two. These two are going to have some rendering in it, the line work. That's going to be a solid black because it's behind those two, further back, behind the energy blast. So just, you know, being real observant, you know, noticing the details helps a lot. You know, you don't want to rush through the drawing. You know, you want to take your time, be aware. You know, to help enhance. You know, he might have drawn this stuff pretty quick, pretty fast, but those are the shapes and lines that have shown through in the artwork. And that's what I see in here. So, working with what I see that's in the artwork, I can help enhance that stuff, you know. Cool little angular shapes that are in the rock. See? Cool little bit of shapes. There's white little shapes in there too that are little highlights and cracks. So now I'm going to rotate. Now that this part's dry, now I can rotate and throw some lines the other way. Hey, doggy, what's up? No, no, no. She's so big, she can bump me over here. She's... No. Go back. My big dog. Watch her. Because she likes to hit my arm. I forgot about that. She walks in when I'm drawing. Luckily, I was digital when she was doing it. And she'll put her nose under and hit my elbow up to like, hey, come pet me. You know, she's like, hey, it's time to pet your pet. And I'm glad she didn't do that. I didn't realize she's big enough to do it here, even on this chair. Big dog. Well trained. I'm glad when I told her no, she listened. She's really smart. She's a good guard dog, man. We had a technician come in fix our dishwasher. We bought a new dishwasher and then we had some issues with it. So the tech came by to do the repairs. And she went right at him. Not aggressively. Went at him, sniffed him, checked him out, and looked to us for the command. She looked like at us to see like, all right, who's this fool? Is he about to be dinner? And I was like, no, he's good. He's good. He is a stranger, but he's welcome in the house. But if he acts a fool, bite him. And she's like, all right. So luckily he was a nice, respectable gentleman, young man. He fixed our dishwasher. Well, we have a warranty on it. We bought it brand new, got the extended warranty on it, and sure enough, it breaks. So he had to order the part. So it's going to be fixed, I should say. All right, here we go. Spot some more shapes in here. And I'm still deciding, you know, on here on how much do I really want some completely solid black. You guys can see, I don't know if you can see, but there's a really, really fine little tip on that. So you have, if you push down too hard on the brush, you know, it lays down a lot of ink. You want to be able to go really light so that you can get the real fine little lines that if you want to get them in there, you know. The other thing too is to lighten that up, that rock right there, to lighten up that rock, I might even do a little splatter on it. But the rock even comes back here behind this thing. See? Attention to detail. Like that. Clean out the brush. And it's work. You gotta stay motivated, focused. I love doing this stuff. So for me, I don't lose interest in it. You know, I just keep inking. And then honestly, when it's over, I'm a little sad. I kind of sometimes don't want to finish. But I always finish. I mean, you know, deadlines are important, man. I pride myself on always meeting my deadlines. If any of you guys have worked with me, you know, before, you can attest to that. Deadlines are important. You know. But when you enjoy what you're doing, it's not hard meeting a deadline. And if you're late, you miss deadlines and stuff, people don't forget that. So don't just ever think, oh, I can miss a deadline. They won't remember. Oh, they remember. So I put down, see these little lines right here? Right there? They have white in it. See how there's still a little gap of white? Some thin lines in there? I don't know if you can actually see, but it adds more. You know, you don't put down a complete solid black. You just kind of render in there. And you get some cool little shapes, and it kind of creates the effect of a speed line motion, you know. But I do it in the shape that Dave put down. Some areas with the quill I go fast, some areas I go slow. It's just knowing your tool. Play with your tool. Get comfortable with it. Know what you can do with it. You know, experiment. Play with a lot of different inking tools. You know, and figure out, you know, all the different things you could do with different tools. But now I'm just inking some of these little bitty shapes. You got to think rocks, think cracks, and keep in mind like how these cracks, how the rocks work, how the cracks work within the rock, and you'll be amazed, you know, when you're done, how incredibly realistic your work or detailed your work will look. It'll separate you from other artists, and honestly, you know, the average reader, they're going to know it's good art, but not know why. But these extra little details and stuff that I'm putting in here, this is for other artists. Other artists will look at this and go, wow, Jimmy has this great technique for inking rock texture. That's really the only people that are going to notice. Average person will zip through this artwork pretty quick. But artists, we're much more detail oriented. That's why we're artists. Our eyes work differently. Our minds work differently. And people, other artists will see it and go, oh yeah, look at that. He puts in all this extra lines in here, making some really cool rocks. And then, you know, that's my goal too, to help elevate Dave's work, you know. I take pride in my work. I know Dave takes pride in his, and I love doing this. I love inking his work. I did a little goof right here. I accidentally inked a little too far in the line that I was intending to do, but I can work with it. I can actually make it part of the artwork in here. Nobody will know except you guys that were watching. You guys saw it happen. If you could see the I don't know how detailed this stream is right now. So hopefully this is good software and it works out. How you guys can really get to see it. You know, up here I gotta look. I don't remember because it's blue. I think this is solid black, and there's a little bit of rendering right there. That's what's tough about inking a non-photo blue copy. Makes it tough, you know. All right, let some of that dry, and maybe I should work on some of the bigger blast up here. Oh, I still got his thumb. I can do his thumb. Yeah. While I let those bottom rocks dry. You got to move around in the drawing, you know. some parts of the line I just throw in one stroke. Others I've got to reshape. Some of them I sculpt. And some all happen in one stroke. All right, let's take a look. I want to observe and see what Dave did. What I'm seeing is solid black right there, and then he's rendering through it. So it looks like he's rendering through it. And you know, I had to make sure that because the thumb bends, the line's got to bend with that thumb. So there will be more dark shadow there. This right here was in a nice dark shadow. Giving it a nice little, cool little texture on that thumb. You know, it'll dry right now. It might have some reflection on it, but it'll dry, and then you guys can see what I was talking about. And we got another arm and hand right here. So if I move right there, let me see if I can ink this where you guys can see it. So, gotta have that quill, it's ink. So I know Dave would put a little extra line up here to kind of help that shape and a little texture. All right, here he didn't put a lot of detail in that part of the hand, but I'm an artist too, so I can draw it. And it looks like this is part of this right here. So we'll do this shape. And hopefully you guys can see that. I'm gonna throw that line towards me, so I want to turn the page and pull the line into me. Just like that. And then this is going to be in black, and it looks like there's some of the finger right here, just to help flesh out what he's drawn. And there's some black shapes right here. It's pretty tough to see with the non-photo blue. This is what I'm guessing, you know, that's what the way he did it. Spot some black right here, fill in the shape with my quill. And this is going to be filled in black, so is that. Did Dave put any rendering up here on the top of this thumb? Looks like maybe a little extra. Just little bitty details in that hand to help really flesh out the hand and the shape with the palm and then the knuckle. It would be a little bit more right here is what he's got. There, just put little bitty lines and shadows, and it helps Shading this one back here might be a dark shape. I probably gets more rendering in this rock right here, right there. I forget, I'm zoomed in, sorry. Let me zoom out a little bit. So I don't know how to pull up the chats with this new software, but I want to say thank you to, I see the super chat coming in, and all right, let me pull in the super chat. Michael Deshay says, or no, you told me you showed me how to pronounce it a while back, and I am still not pronouncing your name. He says, good to see you up and drawing, bro. We were connected last few days, and appreciate that, man. The $5, that's a really good support in the channel. Because of that kind of support, you guys don't feel obligated, but because of super chats like this that goes into the channel that allowed me to buy this equipment that I've got, that you guys are able to see the artwork that's just right there above me. Now you guys can see me inking traditionally because of super chats. So thank you. Don't feel obligated, but when you do, know that is what goes back into your viewing experience. Allows me to, this equipment's expensive. These cameras cost a lot of money. You can see the setup when I turn the camera. You can see the Brio Logitech webcam. I had to get the best because you guys deserve the best. Mario Ultimate Art says, looks great so far. Dismithind says, you're my favorite inker. Jimmy, your lines are superhuman and your style is the most advanced there is. Wow. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. It is, superhuman. It's just patience, and, breathing. You breathe. I'm thirsty. Let me take a drink. So here's some advice that'll really help you out it'll really help you out if you want to be an inker, whether you're going to ink your own work or you're going to ink somebody else's or whatever. Is that, my son at age 18, he joined the Marines and he left to the Marines directly out of high school. But before he left, we're Texans. And, so if you're not comfortable with firearms, I'm not trying to encourage people or anything, but, being here in Texas, we have, shooting ranges and stuff like that. So my son was joining the Marines. He had gotten a rifle, and we wanted to go to the shooting range and practice, get his practice going. So whenever you're going and studying, or you're getting your license to back then it was concealed carry in Texas, they teach you a couple things. When you're going to pull on the trigger, they teach you to breathe out, right? So that, you have your hand on the trigger and you go, you breathe out and you steady your aim and you squeeze gently on the trigger. And I started to think about that when I was there at the range with him. And I started to think, that's like inking. When you're inking, you let that air out. You have to breathe. You have to relax your body. You can't, because you're going to want to tense up. You're going to want to control the nib and get that really fine line. So you just, you breathe out. You steady your hand and you then throw that line, right? And a lot of times we're real tense. We're real nervous, and we throw that line really, really tensed, and we try to control it. And we're getting raided. Frog Raid. Look at this, man. Everybody popping in. How to Draw Comics by Dan Lawless, who's a fantastic artist himself, man. Dan is the man. He's called Dan Flawless for a reason. Hi, Jimmy. Good to see you up and running. Yeah, thank you guys. I haven't had my tooth surgery yet, but the infection's gone and the pain is much more manageable. So I should have that surgery. Hopefully I'm going to try to get it as early as tomorrow, maybe even the day after. God willing, man, I'll get it right away. Frog Tony's here, man. He says, Frog Tony sent me. You sent yourself. Yeah, so you see that? It's just a flood of people popping in. And, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that, Tony, you sending over, that huge crowd you've got going, man. Tony's got a live stream, and he gets a big group over there, and I appreciate that everybody's here. This is artwork I'm inking traditionally, so Really, the reason why I'm inking this artwork traditionally is because I'm hoping to have some tooth surgery done, and it costs a lot of dollars. So I'm going to ink up a couple of pieces and offer them up for sale. And if you guys want to buy this, you guys can. If you Google, what's it called? Radiant Black. Radiant Black. Can I pull it up here? Let's see. If you Google Radiant Black, Jimmy Reyes, and Dave Finch, you'll see that I inked the original. I inked it for publication. And so I'm re-inking it because I inked it for publication digitally. And because, Dave, we had to get it done right away. So he sent it to me and I did it digital. But I'm inking it now traditionally. So I'm going to have this piece up and offer it out. Somebody wants, to be able to get it. It's going to be, really, it's still going to be cheap. I mean, cheap in the sense of original artwork, because this is a cover, a Dave Finch cover. It would go for thousands and thousands of dollars, but I'm going to offer it up for, somebody to be able to buy it for a couple $100. And it's a lot of work, but, it's a way to support, I don't want to go out and ask people for money. That's not me. I'm not going to go, hey, here's a GoFundMe. I need money to get the surgery that I need to get done. Because, dental insurance doesn't cover it completely. There's still a lot left over. So rather than that, I want people to be able to have something, buy something, be able to have this original piece that's inked traditionally, that I'm the actual inker on the cover, even though I inked it digitally. But it's it's going to be a traditional piece, so it'll be offered soon and all that. And I wish I could highlight the. I can't pull up the chat. I'm in a new software trying it out. I'm gonna go back to my desk. You guys are gonna be able to see me. I'm gonna go back ink, and you guys will that are here be able to see. I switched microphones, so here it is. Here's the desk. That's where I'm sitting. You guys are gonna watch little me climb up on a big desk, and hopefully you don't see me. Oh, good. You can't see my shorts. I was like, dude, my shorts. It's a little warm in here right now. My shorts stuck to my butt, so I was like, whoosh. You guys are gonna get to see some. You just get to see a lot more shape to my booty than you probably want to. All right, here are the glasses. Let me see. Am I back on the right microphone? Yeah. Alrighty, so here we go. I'm going to get back to inking right here on this page. I'm going to switch to a different quill. Okay, so when I ink, here's those fine little lines that I did earlier on the rock. See all those little shapes, little breaks in the line, just a bunch of broken pieces, breaking off. Cool little stuff, that I put into the type of line work. And then the fist that we did earlier, you can see there's a bunch of little lines, and it's all tiny little details, that help enhance the artwork that people don't even the common person doesn't even, the average viewer doesn't even know why the work's good. But it's because of all that little attention to detail, So I'm going to switch to a different quill that kind of reacts like a brush. It will allow me to be able to add these shapes quickly, about as fast as I could with the brush. But I can still get the same shape of the line as I have with the rest of the art with the quill. So it's basically allowing me to ink it in the style of a quill. You can still see the angular lines that I like to achieve, but it's a quick, fast, soft. You gotta have a light hand for this one. This one reacts a lot like a brush. So if you have a heavy hand, you're not going to like this quill. So you just go through and you do a bunch of a bunch of different just lines and shapes, you know. You don't really think too hard about it. You just keep in your mind thinking electricity, zigzag, lightning bolts, energy, and a little messy, you know. So Dragon Rage is my comic book, if you guys are wondering. I have my own book, Dragon Rage, which is at the printers. I get it back on Monday. It's going to go into fulfillment. So Dragon Rage is my baby, even though I'm going to be inking over an artist professionally on a main some characters that people really know very well. I'm still going to be producing Dragon Rage. Dragon Rage is my own IP, and I'm really big on that. You know, I'm inspired by guys, you know, like Todd McFarlane, Robert Kirkman, these guys that created and very successful IPs. I want to do the same thing. I want to create. This one right here is Kyle Higgins. He created something great right here. You know, he owns it. He's made quite a bit of money on it. It's the entrepreneur in me, you know. I just love creating. So I will always be doing something on Dragon Rage. And hopefully you guys were able to see the lines I was just inking. I forgot I can go off camera at times. So I gotta move around. I don't want my arm to get that dirty, you know. So let's see where else I can do some quick little lines. Here we go, right here. So Dave put these shadows and he beveled one side of this lightning bolt and the other side is thinner, and he kind of made it look like it's kind of chiseled. I see that he's done that. So gotta kind of I got to stick with that, but I don't know if the colorist would. When it's colored, I don't know if it'll, kind of looks two-dimensional, you know. I like the idea, but then on other spots, you know, he didn't do that. He just did that right here. So I think if I stick with the rest of it and ink this just and ignore some of this bevel that he did, it'll blend in nicely. I think it'll be alright. So just cool little shapes, zigzags here and there. Don't have to be neat with it. In fact, the more angular and little zigzags we do, there's my kneaded rubber eraser. It was in the way. These are still nibs, nib tips. I accidentally smeared the ink right here, but you know what? It's gonna work. And I felt it. I smeared it. You can see my finger when I touched it. It left the spot. I got to let it dry. You can see that it's a steel nib. It's an old-fashioned tool, but I love using this. I love the master illustrators use this stuff, like Franklin Booth. These guys, incredible masters at illustrating. And this is the way I want to work. It's a little slower, but I can get amazing detail. I can do a lot of cool little rendering. Especially with modern technology now, the way that things can print, they can print these little, all these fine little lines now. So that means we can show off in our artwork. Do something really, that just really stands out. It looks amazing, Stuff like Bernie Wrightson, he used quill, used brush, quill, used a lot of these old tools. I want to use the tools that the masters used. So I'm still using this larger larger nib that reacts kind of like a brush. If you're wondering what it is, I'm using a 108. It has a bronze color to it. So if you look for it on the chart from Hunt or Speedball now that they bought at Hunt, it's a 108. It's very nice, very flexible. So I did these lines with the 102, and then I just did all that with the 108 right now, and it's all basically the same line weight if you get comfortable enough with the 108, and you can get really light lines with it, really fine lines. So I'm off camera now, trying to these little shapes that Dave's put in here. So fine little bitty lines right there with this 108. And you guys probably never seen anybody ink with the 108 before. You saw it first here, live on Jimmy Reyes Art. So I'm testing out new software. Appreciate that you guys have been my test monkey, allowing me to try out new software, see how the stream goes. I got to make sure I know how to end the stream on this new software. So if I don't end the stream and then later on you see me picking my nose, I'm going to apologize in advance. Or if I pull out my wedgie that this chair gives me, I'm going to apologize in advance. So here's some cool little shapes. Just working on those little shapes right there. With the 108, it holds more ink. It's pretty flexible in the sense that it is literally flexible. The tips can bend a whole lot. So you gotta have a light hand with this one. Always working on shapes in these little rocks. All these angular little shapes make the top flat surface of it, and there's little bits and pieces underneath the sides of the rock. So I vary my lines, and you get really cool little shapes in here. So I'm already starting on Dragon Rage number 2, and getting some artwork done for it. The next campaign for Dragon Rage is going to be the standard edition, which will be in color. The one that came out, the first one, is Dragon Rage was an undeveloped idea, and because of your support, we were able to flesh out that idea. We were able to get that to print. Small campaign, small budget. Had a small budget to work with. Starting up a publishing company, takes a lot of capital. So a lot of things happen along the way that factor to change what I could put together. You know, I lost a colorist. My colorist is a professional, works in the industry on major titles. Good buddy of mine, but he got busy. He's got a family. You know, he's got to go with the big jobs. So if that book stayed in color, that would have meant 4 to 6 months more of wait time, and it would have meant less of what I could accomplish and give back to the backers, because of it would have taken up more of the budget. So I wouldn't have been able to do the extra mailer boxes for the people that were backing the Give Me Everything tiers, things like that, and I wouldn't have been able to afford buying the service that I need for the mailing newsletter. That costs money. And so now I can keep you guys up to date. You guys can sign up to the newsletter, dragonragecomic.com or jimmyreyesart.com. And if you go there right now, you guys can sign up and stay up to date for free. All because of, still being creative and working within that budget. I was able to achieve a lot. So, you have an idea when you start a campaign. It's a project that we do together, both me and the backers. And you really never know. It's not a pre-order. You're not pre-ordering. It's a campaign. You're crowdfunding. It's different, so which means we don't know what we're going to raise. We have a goal and a projected estimated budget of what we could do, but you don't know what you're going to raise. And then when you do, then you got to work within that budget. And there are a lot of factors that can change. Printing costs, the economy, the inflation happened. So I wasn't able to do color, but I thought, you know what? I could do something to give my backers, because my backers are so important to me. I want my backers to have something of value. I work hard, give you a good story, good art, like you can see here. I work hard on my artwork, but I want my backers to have something of value. So what I decided was, is that I'm going to make it, I made it the pen and ink edition, means it's in black and white, and you can see all the beautiful rendering line art that I've done to Dragon Rage. All the art, you can see it in there. And I made that a limited edition, meaning that I didn't overprint, and I'm not going to sell that outside the campaign. Which means less money for me, means that I would love to be able to sell that book on eBay or on my website. Of course, never selling it for less than my backers paid. I'd never undersell my backers. You guys are important to me, so I would have sold it at a bit of a markup, right? Still makes money on it, but because I want to give my backers something special on that version of the pen and ink, I've decided that I'm not selling it outside of the campaign. So only backers will have copies of it. And it's up to you guys if you want to sell it. If you want to offer it on the secondary market and hopefully be able to make a profit on it. I mean, there's no guarantee. But I'm not going to be selling it on my website, and there won't be any competition for me. That's your book. You invested and helped me, start up. You helped me with the startup on the book and to develop, to flesh out the undeveloped story idea. It came to life because of you. So only backers will have copies of it, of that version. The book had about 900 and say like 28 backers. I printed up 950 copies just to in case when the books get shipped to me, the top books often get damaged. So every box, the top 1 to 5 books, maybe even 10 books on the top can get damaged. So I just printed a little bit above just to make sure, ensure for that. And then that means I'm going to fulfill, and basically I'm going to have no copies really left over. And that's okay with me. That's for backers. My promise to backers is that I'm not going to print that book, reprint that version of it, or those covers. Those covers are exclusive to that campaign. The campaign's already closed. If you guys go to my campaign and you see I want that cover, you have to contact a backer and find out if they're willing to sell their copy, because I won't have it. So now I'm going to launch a new campaign, because now majority of the expenses have already been paid. So all the things that I have to invest in to start up a company, when you start up an LLC, there's a fee. You got to get a PO box. You've got to get the mailing service. You got to get the label printer for mailing. You got to get the labels. You have to get all the shipping supplies. You got to get all the bags and boards, and all that costs thousands of dollars. It costs a lot of money. So it's not just cost of printing a book and shipping out your book. So if you guys are looking to do future campaigns yourselves, keep that in mind. There's a lot of expenses, and a lot of unexpected expenses are going to happen. So be well aware of that, and so always over budget. And expect that, because it does happen. The inflation happened to me in the economy. Prices of paper went up. Prices of services went up. Prices of shipping went up January 1st. So all these things, that factor in. So majority of the expenses have been paid. So I set the budget for this new one. All I need now is to raise the funds for printing, for shipping, paying the colorist, things like that. Of course, I want to pay my writer for reprinting the story. I want to give him, a bit of a royalty, because I'm reprinting his story. I want to be fair to my team, to everyone, things like that. So I had to separate the two in order to cover where I want to get Dragon Rage 2. I want it to be eventually, be able to offer it in a nice full color, a nice quality, high quality gloss paper in full color, but all that is very, very expensive right now. Paper costs went up. So that's the reason why I had to separate the two, because my campaign was, if you go look at it, it's very modest. You look at other campaigns out there and they're making raising hundreds of thousands, 300,000. I'm nowhere near that, Mine was a small, little modest campaign. I think people wanted to make sure I could fulfill, And now that I, proven myself, campaign's fulfilling, I have a feeling the next one's going to be bigger. And with that campaign being bigger, that's good news to the first set of backers, because they have something exclusive and rare. So I can't advise you what to do with it. It was your contribution. They were your perks. I can't advise you what to do with your perk, but I would say hold on to it for a little bit, because as Dragon Rage raises in popularity, the demand for that very first edition, being that it was very independent in black and white, is going to be the book is going to be sought after. That's the version collectors are going to want. I have a feeling on this. Can't guarantee it, but I would say, as if you're a collector and you want to, eventually resell it, I would say that's the one. You're in luck if you got that one. And as the popularity grows, then know that the demand for that book is going. That version may grow with it, And knowing that I'm not competing with you, I'm not selling it on the secondary market, so I'm not increasing the print run, and so which means it's limited. I printed up less than 1,000 copies. There will be less than 1,000 copies out there in circulation. Estimated something like that. I think maybe it was like 950 backers, and I printed like 970 copies, something like that. I can get the exact numbers if people are curious, but It's around there. So know that, that's a way for me to give to my backers, because you guys believed in me when it was just a concept. There were very few pages drawn. As we were developing the book, the story concept changed. We added new characters. We added more pages to the story. Of course, the book itself became a pen and ink edition. It became the black and white. So that's crowdfunding. You're helping kickstart an idea, a concept. You're bringing it to life. You're helping development. So in the development process, it changes. It's not a retail book. It's not an advertised book. So it isn't like, this isn't how it was advertised, because it's not advertised. It's a crowdfunding, and you guys are all amazing, for doing that, helping me get that. I'm thinking about rendering some lines right there. I can't tell if Dave put lines right there because of this version of the blue line, but I think it does have lines there. I got to figure out. I'm gonna throw some lines there with this 108. Normally I throw my bleed line with a 102, but so I just threw in a couple of little lines in there, but hopefully that was what he actually intended. For that, I can always throw in some like white outlines on it. But so here's the artwork. I'm going to zoom out a little bit on the art so you guys can see the whole entire artwork and page. I want to say thank you to you guys. I normally don't stay up this late in ink, but I want to start giving you guys more value, in everything. I want you guys to get more value here on the stream. I want to, offer as much free as I can. Of course, I've got bills, I've got a family, I've got to make money, of course, that's my goal, is to get Dragon Rage to the point where I can make money doing my own book. That's really where I want it to be. I want to be able to make a living at it. I mean, this Dragon Rage, sure, I made a little bit of money, but I couldn't, not enough to support myself and a family, for sure, but enough to get myself a nice, but to get myself something, to feel like, I got something out of that hard work that I put in for a year. And if I told you how much, you guys would laugh, but know that if you worked at McDonald's, you would laugh at me. You would be like, oh my God, I'm making way more than you did doing your own comic book here at McDonald's flipping burgers. But I've got my own book, and because of you, and I'm happy with it, even if it's not enough to really pay bills, but eventually I want to get there. So I'm going to try to offer you guys as much free stuff here on YouTube. You're going to watch me ink, you can watch me I'm going to teach you guys stuff, and I'm going to try to make it as free as I can. Try to make it as inexpensive as I can, because I know that times are hard right now. I know that there were people even saying that, I was going to say I'm offering the original inks. You guys can buy these inks. People were saying, hey, wish they could. They're broke. So I want people, everybody. You don't have to be somebody with a dispensable income to only people the dispensable income be able to enjoy stuff on this channel. I want you guys to be able to come to this channel, get value, come here and see, and then learn things. Watch me draw and, learn, a few things along the way. Learn how to draw, learn how to ink, learn about the business of crowdfunding. If you guys are going to do your own book, learn how to set up your own book. I did everything on my book. I did all the graphic design, all the advertisement. I did all the marketing. I did all the videos. I did all the pencils, all the inks. I did all the layout, all the design on that. It's a lot of work, but yet we have a final result that I can be proud of. We can all be proud of. We did it. Dragon Rage is a reality. It's printed, and it'll be in your hands. I'll have the books hopefully by next week, and we'll start sending out the first orders by the beginning of the following week after. So it was a lot of work, and we did a whole lot with a small budget. So I think we're going to be proud. It's going to grow from here. It's going to be great. So but because of the fact that I don't make enough crowdfund my own book yet, I still have to freelance. I still have to take in projects. So you guys will see me taking in projects. Don't worry, I'm still going to continue doing Dragon Rage because I love it. I love being a creative. I love having my own book. And so don't worry, Dragon Rage will still be coming out. But, I have to, I've got to got bills to pay and medical bills. So that's just, one thing I want to throw out there for you guys. If you guys see me doing stuff and going, oh no, he's not serious about Dragon Rage because he's doing freelance. Well, I'm a person like everybody else. Nobody's giving me money. I'm not a trust fund baby. I don't have mommy, daddy. In fact, I'm grandpa. I'm the one that, I have to make the money because I got people depending on me. So you'll see me doing some, freelance work, and hopefully I can keep a good amount of freelance work. That'd be amazing. If you guys are able to and interested in buying the original art pieces that you'll see, I'll have some originals in Dragon Rage. If you guys want to get those, always, contact me. Let me know. My website, jimreyesart.com. If you need an artist for a cover, pencil ink a cover, things like that, that'll be really appreciated. So you can always contact me. And I'm going to come over here, say goodbye to you guys. So I'm off camera, but I know we will get right back here onto camera. So I want to say hi to you guys. You guys are great, man. SDA saying, hey, Jimmy. Appreciate that. Phil and Salemos is in here. He's saying hello to a bunch of you guys in there. Punk Face. Jimmy, if you read the chat after, you can make money from Amazon affiliates where you put up the materials you use, so you make a commission when you go buy it. When we go buy it for ourselves. Oh, that's a great idea. I honestly hadn't thought of that. I mean, I've seen people do it, but I never really thought about it. Because there are a lot of great products out there that I use, a lot of tips and tricks. Most of them, I don't have it right. I was looking over the right because there was there were some things that I make myself for my art supplies. There's a way to really just do it yourself and make these kind of art supplies, and I get everything off of Amazon. I order everything off Amazon because it's just easier because I can just keep working and get it delivered here. Or sometimes if my health, it just makes it easier just to be here in the house, get it delivered. So there are a lot of things, a lot of tips that I can show you guys. There are things out there that I've noticed that a lot of these mainstream inkers, big inkers in the mainstream, a lot of my peers start using these tools. And I went, oh my God, I was using that stuff way back when. And I made videos. I have videos on my YouTube channel going way back. You guys can see me inking with the stuff, and now I see these big name artists inking with them now, and I go, oh my God, like I didn't realize that I was I thought, I thought everybody was already using this stuff. I didn't think I was that creative, but it turns out I'm pretty creative when it comes to what I ink with and how I ink, and I'm gonna pass it on to you guys, and you guys are, I'm sure you guys are creative, and there's a lot of creative things you do, I'm sure. And Phil Asano says, Jimmy, you're the man. Scott Hall, take a phone over to the desk with you so we can see chat. Yeah, I have the chat here next to me. I can see you guys pulling up, but I don't know how to pull it onto the screen yet on this new thing. Do you do it with the alert box? I don't want to bore you guys here while I'm trying to figure this stuff out. Oh, wait, YouTube Super Chats. Oh, I can pull that up. YouTube memberships, when somebody subscribes. I could pull that up. I see that. YouTube Super Chats. I have to mess with these settings. I don't know how to do all that, but I would like to pull you up. SDA says I have a 3D printer. I have to learn Blender 3D. Oh, dude, if you learn Blender 3D, that would be awesome. And you have a 3D printer. I'm interested in buying. I want to buy a 3D printer whenever I can raise enough in the campaign so that I can start offering people. Of course, just getting somebody to render in Blender and print them out, and then be able to offer extra stuff in the campaigns. Ark Huffle says, "Teach us, Jimmy Sensei." Scott Hall says, "Hey yo, peoples." Grumpy Old Ninja Kentaro says, "I'm signed up." Oh, awesome! Hopefully that's for the hopefully that is for the JimmyReyesArt.com. So if you go over to JimmyReyesArt.com, you can sign up, and let's see, can I get a web browser in here to get you guys? Let's see, I can probably put browser source. Maybe that is what will work. Let's take a look. You can see it up top, up there. I don't know if that's the right thing. Maybe. Sorry that's kind of a boring little window up there. All right. So here is behind me here is my web browser. So when you log on to JimmyReyesArt.com, you'll see this cool little pop-up thing that says join the list. And then you just you sign up for that, and I'm going to send out notifications when the Dragon Rage campaigns go live. So the next one will be the standard edition. The standard edition is only going to have 2 covers. I went crazy with the pen and ink edition. I did 6 covers total. That's going to be the only campaign I'm ever going to do that with. So if you guys have all 6 covers, you're going to have something freaking amazing, because I'm not doing that again. It's crazy to fulfill. It's very tedious. So I'm only going to do at the max like 2 covers. And of course, maybe the 2 covers, but I might offer like a foil cover, something like that of the one of the graphics. But this one's going to be this one's going to have a ZHC did a cover for me. He's a huge YouTube star. He did a cover, and that's his artwork right there on that image you see behind me. So we'll have that one. I'm going to do a special chromium cover of that, or foil. I forget which one it's called. I think it's chromium, where the entire thing shines. You'll have that option to buy that. Of course, that costs a lot more to print, so it's going to be at double the cost of the standard, what you back in a comic book. So the chromium's estimated at about a $50 perk around there. But then I'm going to have the 2 standard covers that you can get. One is by ZHC, the other is by me, and I've showcased that artwork, but it's being colored right now by Andrew Dollhouse. Fantastic colorist. He colors Spawn. He colors a bunch of stuff, everywhere. He's a huge colorist. So Andrew's going to be coloring that cover for me. When that's ready, then I'm going to launch this campaign pretty soon, and hopefully you guys all come back for that and are really happy, with the I think you guys are going to love the story. Honestly, I can't wait for you guys to get Dragon Rage in your hands. I have some of the proofs behind me, but, we could kind of flip through it real quick. I just don't want to spoil Dragon Rage for backers. But let's do that real quick. Let me show you guys. So these are the proofs right here that came in. for Dragon Rage, right? These are the ones, and you can see it tells you proof and what printer, what they used. Here's main cover. Here's the special cover, wraparound cover, the Finch Fire cover right there. Here was the hidden cover. People didn't even know this cover existed. Here's the pencil version cover. And so if you've got all these are going to be extremely rare. So we're going to open this up right here. So here is Dragon Rage Pen and Ink Edition. So you'll know you have the rare Pen and Ink Edition when you see that. When you see that on there, you know. I don't know if my artwork should be dry by now, kind of. And so here we go. Here is the inside credit page. This is Nuri. You can see all the fancy credits. I say, you know, I dedicate it to my family, but I also dedicate it to you, my backers. I'm super grateful to everybody who backed. It was funded by Indiegogo. And you can see all the fancy line art right there. I mean, it printed beautifully. The pages smell great. Super detailed artwork. It's all lettered, so you can read it. And look at this. Bam! Double page spread opens up right there. Just bam. I don't want to spoil too much. In the book, there is nudity in the book. So here's the. Maybe I should cover it with for YouTube. But you know, that's super highly detailed artwork that's in here, and it printed very well. So YouTube, you know, likes to, but you can see the detail artwork and how well it printed. You can see some of the dialogue up in there. You know, he says, she says to him, you know, you misunderstand. I am Celadon, Queen of Demargo. I birthed the dragons now in prison within your cursed weapons. Even now they tremble at my voice. It's amazing dialogue, man. When you guys read this stuff, the lore is great. It's amazing. We even tell you a little bit. Look, here's some here's the king. He's somebody that might be up to. He's the kind of king that maybe he's lusting for more power, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to achieve that type of power. But it's highly detailed art, and this version will not be reprinted. So this version right here that says Pen and Ink with this cover or any of the covers I've shown, they're locked out, already out. So if you didn't get in on the campaign, you won't be able to get this version right here. So this is going to be something special to backers who helped me get this book and bring it to life. In the back, there is the lore, talking more about Drago. He's a dragon master. He's a Dragar. So as a Dragar, he's able to capture the rage of the dragon, the essence, and to tap into its powers, you know. It's kind of like, man, what was the other? I was thinking of it earlier. Oh, I'm hungry now, so I'm getting fatigued. But basically, they can tap into. They've captured the dragon's spirit and ghost, and they keep it in their weapons, and they can tap into it and wield the powers of that dragon as if it's their own. They become as strong as dragons. They become fireproof. They have armor, natural armor on their bodies. This was drawn by Fabio. He's doing a cover for issue number 2, and colored by Nestro something Jr. I forget his name, but he colored this cover, and he did the ZHC cover. So that's the in the next issue. I don't want to spoil it. It says blah 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 down here. What happens in the next issue? But you guys can't see that yet. I went crazy on some backgrounds. Let's see. I don't want to spoil story too much. Here's a page I've shown before, but look at that background back there. Those buildings. That rabbit. Crazy stuff. Let's see. I'm holding it and flipping through it really weird because I don't want to spoil the stuff, but look at that. Hyper detail. Look at that pig face. What do you guys think of that? You know? We did this together. We made this together, guys. You know what I mean? Look at that. Because of you, this story has come to life. These pages existed in my head. It was just a concept, an idea, undeveloped, you know. And because of you making it possible, I went to work on this thing, myself and Dave Philpott, the writer, for about a year on this. Just working on it, developing it. You know, look at that. Part 1, The Crown of Fire. You know, Dave Philpott and I, we worked our butts off on it to develop the story. I redrew pages because I felt you guys deserve it. You deserve my best. If you guys were there from the beginning, you saw I redrew pages. Dave Philpott, the writer, rewrote pages because we wanted to give the best, you know. So because it's in black and white, don't feel at all. I mean, black and white is because that's what because I had to work within my budget, but at the same time, I love black and white. Savage Sword of Conan, I love that stuff. Maybe someday you'll see my work in a Conan book. Maybe. But look at that, Dave Finch did a cover. You know what I mean? It's all top-notch stuff, man. We have Andrew Dollhouse colored. Top-notch colors, man. And then you guys are getting the pencil edition. This penciled version will not be reprinted. You know, this is an exclusive cover to Indiegogo. The only times I reprint the colored cover is through Indiegogo. I won't reprint them anywhere else. But this penciled one, I'm not going to reprint anywhere. This is the only time this pencil version was offered. You know, it says Dragon Rage at the bottom. You get to see Dave Finch's work. Dave Finch, when he drew it, he actually did not draw the Fennec Fox. See my little Fennec Fox? I added the Fennec Fox in on the final version, but you get this in the true raw form, the way Dave Finch drew it. Like this. Nobody else will know that the Fennec Fox wasn't there other than you and people watching the stream. But the people that own this, you guys will own this penciled copy on this cover right here. This one, extremely rare. I think the print run on this one right here was about 145 copies, something like that. It's really low. So for a Dave Finch cover in pencil in the raw like this, hold on to this one. You know, if you were able to get this one, you know, if you end up selling yours, you know, I'd say this is be the one to hold on to. And this one was a hidden cover. It's not as dark. It looks a little dark on the stream because I have it in plastic and it's under this light. See, this one right here, she has a Fennec Fox buddy, and this Fennec Fox is a big part in the story. This cover was hidden. People had no idea till the end of the stream, the end of the campaign. I made it live. I made it show up publicly, you know, on the main page of the campaign. And people went, what the hell, where was this? Is this new? And I said, no, it's been there the whole time. It was a hidden cover. This is the one with the smallest print run. This is my artwork. So if you want my most rare cover from me, the creator of the book, this is the one right here. This is the one that this is my rare cover for me. My most popular cover, of course, was my main cover. That was the most popular. This one was very popular as well. People loved this cover right here. You know, you can see all the cool little details that I put, and the details in the sword, how they printed. You know, that one was pretty rare. This one was second most popular. It's the wraparound cover. It printed great. I hate to bend it open, but don't worry. When I fulfill the books, I'm going to be careful with your books because they're your books, not mine. So, these are mine. These are the proofs. So I can be a little more rough with them. But here it is. It's actually a wraparound cover. Look at that. It's got the villains, on the back. Well, nobody's really a villain. Everybody is fighting for their own cause. Some people for power, some people for money. It just depends on what your views are. Is that evil because you want to be, you want to fight for power? I guess it just depends on what you do, what you're doing to achieve your goal. That can set you from the right or wrong. Here are the ones that are the rebel group that are trying to stop there's somebody that's killing the Dragari and trying to take the rage from the Dragari to create a crown of fire to be able to become as powerful as the king of dragons himself, Demorro, and the person that wields it could control the entire world of Dragon Rage. So here's the small band of rebels that of outcast. Here's an orphan girl. She doesn't know anything about her past. She's an orphan. This is a mage. He's a mage who has no idea, how to control his powers. He's from a very powerful lineage of mages, but he wasn't raised with them. Maybe they passed away before he was born, and he's got this power that he doesn't know how to develop himself, and he's learning on his own. Here's an outcast. Here's a guy that was one of the greatest warriors out there, but he's an outcast now. He was he used to fight for the monarchy. He was maybe he defended the king himself, and once the king died, he was outcast. Maybe he was blamed for it. Maybe. These are twins, two twins. I love G.I. Joe. So they were twins, if you guys know, in G.I. Joe. I love that idea. I love Star Wars. And in Star Wars, there were twins later that were born from Luke and from Mara Jade, Luke's wife. They had twins. And then, of course, they changed that. Disney changed it. So I want twins in my book. These two are very powerful. That's their older brother from another mother. So he's a little different. He's a magic user. And he's a bit strange and creepy. He's in the background. You're going to find out how creepy this guy is. And you'll find out, this guy's very, very powerful. Very powerful. So is she. But you find out a lot about these guys. It's a lot like a Game of Thrones where there is a lot of politics, where there's a battle for power. There's sabotage. There's betrayal. There's corruption in this world of Dragon Rage. All these different people are fighting for power. Let me see. There's 44 pages in this book. It's a pretty thick book. Here's the creepy brother, how the book ends. I don't want to give you the dialogue caption on top. But he says something. He says something at the very end. It's highly detailed. But here's the king. Here's the new king. His name is King Aldrich V. And he's trying to put together a crown of fire, but we don't know why yet. At this point, what he's doing with it. He might be the one behind why the dragons are near extinction and why the Dragaris are being hunted down. Maybe he's to blame. He's behind it. Maybe not. Dave Philpott's great at setting up a great story, and you think you know what's going to happen with Dave when Dave Philpott writes stuff, and he's got a great way of dropping Easter eggs that, unless you're extremely detail oriented, you catch every word. You'll catch the hints, but I'm not that kind of person to really catch it all right away. So later, when I read his script for the next one, I go, holy crap, he set that up in the first book. He was setting it up. It was obvious, but it wasn't like right in your face obvious, but if you were really paying attention, the clues are there. You know, he's so good at that. He's great at doing that. So I hope you guys are excited about the next campaign for this book, Dragon Rage, The Crown of Fire. I hope you guys are as excited as I am for it. And it's going to be a fun ride. It's got tons of great stuff, twists and turns, a lot of great surprises, a lot of great stuff going to happen in this book of Dragon Rage. You guys are going to be in for a ride. If you like House of Dragons, Game of Thrones, D&D, you know, if you play anything fantasy, tabletop, you're into the Elder Scrolls, you know, Elden Ring, any of that stuff, dude, you guys are going to love this book. So, you know, this campaign was small. It was modest. A lot of people didn't know about it. Now the popularity is growing. I want to offer the book again, but I don't want to offer it exactly the same because I don't want to undercut my backers. So people in the first run, you get something special. The second time around, for those that are just hopping on, you know, you guys can get the standard edition. It's going to be, you know, be in color. So it's still offering something of value. It's going to be a slightly different. It's in color. You know, so for those that got the first book, you don't have to come back and get the second book. You don't have to come back and get the colored version. You know, it's still the same story. But if you do want to get, you know, have all the versions of the book, you know, I want to be able to give each and everybody something good and something special each and every time that I do a campaign. I want there to be value for you, the backers. You know, the Art of Times of Jay Ryan is in. K-pop, yo, she says, yo, K-pop, man, thanks so much for coming in. Nicole J is here, and Nicole J says, Scott Hall, I weigh 136 pounds. Is that fat? I weigh 138. I'm a lightweight guy, and 136 pounds, you know, I mean, it depends on the height. And like Anna, she weighs, I weigh 138. Anna weighs 135, I think, 134, but Anna's taller than me. She's like 5'7", 5'8", and I'm short. So 138 to me is, you know, it's heavier, you know, but I used to be 177 at my height, and it wasn't good for my heart. Any of that stuff, you know. I missed the earlier conversation, so no fat shaming here, guys. You know what I mean? I used to be overweight. I was overweight for a while. You know, I know what it's like. And Rachel Brinkley, tiny. Yeah, I'm 138, and I'm short too. I'm pretty short. So when you guys see me, I'm short. Just know that. You know. Peter Watts is here. He says, how tall is the fellow? Me, or like the characters in the book? Me, I'm short. I'm 5'4". So 5'4", 138 pounds. So, you know, but I'm about to hit 50. I'm about to hit 50, and I couldn't even say it. My voice cracked. About to hit 50. I couldn't say it without crying. But I still got my abs. I have abs. I was getting out of the shower, and Anna walks up to me. She's like, why are you standing in front of the mirror naked? You know, well, I mean, it's a lot of info, right? Why are you standing in front of the mirror? You know, what are you doing? Why are you looking at yourself? And I was like, I'm about to be 50. I got abs, you know? I'm like, wow. Isn't that great? Isn't that cool? You know, I got a lot of gray hair. You know, I'm 50. You know, I should be feeling down about myself, but I was looking in the mirror going, I could flex my abs. That's pretty good, you know? So anyway, you know, but I mean, I'm still 5'4", you know? No matter how old I get, I'll never grow taller. You know, that's the sad part. Wish I could grow taller. Angela Curry says 50, or 50. Yeah, so I know it's. Richard Brinkley says I turn 50 next year. Hey, all right. You and me, we're you know, we're about to hit the middle mark. You know, out there. Michael Bancroft says fat shaming works. It worked on me. They did. People did. My doctor fat shamed me. I go into my doctor, and my doctor says, well, according to your BMI, your body mass index, you at your age, your height, you are obese. I was 5'4" at 177 pounds. My doctor called me obese. I was like, you're lucky I'm a gentleman, lady. She called me obese. So they put me on a diet. I had to get on a diet. to control my diabetes and everything. So the weight loss is intentional. I know a lot of you guys got worried when you saw me. You look back at old streams. I had a big head. I still got a big head, but it's a lot thinner now. It's a lot better. Nicole J, Jimmy's a hunk. Aw, thank you. Making me feel, like, I was standing in front of there and going, I got abs. I'm a hunk. I'm gonna believe that. I'm gonna believe that I am. But thank you for lying to me, Nicole J. You're so good at lying. Thank you. That was great. Grumpy Old Ninja is up here. He says, "True dat, Michael Bancroft." Oh man, yeah, it worked for me. I mean, they fat shamed me, and put me on a diet, and I was like, "Damn it, doctor, I'm gonna lose weight." Richard, Jimmy, your art desk look nice. Oh yeah, I have a tour. If you guys go to my YouTube channel, watch my old tour that I give of my studio that I had back then. It wasn't really a studio. It was a nook. It was a nook in the corner of the living room. And I have my desk. It's the same desk I have here. You can get a close look at it now. I am filming a tour of this studio. I'm waiting for the books to arrive. The books should be in by Monday, I'm told. Next week. Or at the latest, they'll be sending them out on Monday. I'll get them at the end of next week. But either way, once the books arrive, I'm going to film a tour of my video. I'm going to show you guys where I'm fulfilling. I'm going to show you guys my whole setup, everything, where I draw digital, where I'm drawing traditional, how I film stuff. You guys get to see all the cool things. I got cool toys. Got a bunch of cool little toys that are, I'm a big fan of Conan. I buy anything Conan. Robert Howard was... Robert E. Howard was a Texan, and I'm a big fan of that and supporting a Texan, so whenever I can get things Conan, the Barbarian, I do. I buy it. I love that stuff, and I want to show you guys all the cool things, everything that's in here. You guys will get to see some of the supplies that were needed. Guys like Michael Bancroft, who's already fulfilling his book, knows, the type of cost that I'm talking about that goes into it, and that's cost for printers. You'll see all this equipment in here, everything that, goes into it. So I'll show you guys all that stuff. Mortal V says, impressive, Jimmy. No stains. Oh, the books. Yeah, right. You over the time, you learn to perfect your aim, where you're fulfilling TMI, Jimmy. Oh, the books. I read it. I see that my eyes are getting tired. I read 2 different things. Morphy says, impressive, Jimmy. No stains. And earlier, where you're fulfilling TMI. Okay. Oh, the books. Where the fulfilling happens. I get it. I'm catching up, man. It's a good joke. Peter Watts says, Robert Howard's cowboy and boxing stories were great too. Wow, that's cool. I grew up with, I have a lot of brothers. I'm, Texan. My father was a truck driver, growing up. My father was very conservative, very truck driver, very alpha male, man here in Texas. He loved football. I grew up with football. I am not a football fan, but I grew up with it. I know the game, and I know all the names from the 70s, Roger Staubach days for the Dallas Cowboys when he was quarterback and all that stuff. Unfortunately, I can't forget. My dad repeated and yelled those names at the TV screen like he was the coach for most of my youth. And boxing, I boxed. I loved boxing. I boxed when my teen years, when I was healthy, when I had my healthy time, for my tween years, my teen years, and then I stopped. But that's crazy. I didn't know that about Robert E. Howard. But you're probably saying Cowboys like Western, not Cowboys the football team. Maybe, I don't know. But that'd be a neat coincidence. And I like fantasy. And I'm inspired by him. There's a lot of Conan. When you read this book, you're going to see a lot. You're going to see a lot of influence from Robert E. Howard and Conan in Dragon Rage. You'll see my influences in here, hopefully. Morphe says, jokes aside, is today treating you better? Yeah, thanks so much. If you guys are wondering why people are asking me about how I'm doing, am I doing better? Is because, well, for one, I'm a heart failure patient, but 2, my tooth right here, my doctor told me you're going to need a root canal up here. And he told me that a year ago, and I just let it go. I wasn't able to pay my dental insurance for a few months. I had, I got a mortgage and other stuff. I need to make sure to be able to pay all that. And, so I wasn't able to pay it. And they canceled, they didn't cancel. They suspended my insurance coverage. And right at that time, my tooth cracks, falls out. Half the tooth just falls out, right? I'm turning 50. I'm literally falling apart at 50. This happened last week. Tooth falls out. I get an infection. I'm diabetic, and I'm a heart failure patient. So as a diabetic, no matter, how much mouthwash, how much flossing, how much brushing, I still got an infection very quick. It was so painful. It was the worst pain I had ever experienced. And I was a chemo patient back when chemo was given through IV, through needles. That's how they used to give chemo back then. Or maybe they still do now. I don't know. But I received it back in the 70s. And things were pretty rough back then for cancer patients. Not this cool fancy stuff that you guys get now. You guys are part of the high tech stuff now. But so I was back there, with the olden days when they would literally just bomb your whole body, and this was still the worst pain I had ever experienced. So much pain. It got an infection. It was inflamed. It was bad, but no abscess, nothing like that. So thank God, don't have to worry about it going in my heart. Called up the dentist, set up an appointment, and then they let me know the news: you don't have active insurance. I said, oh my God, that's right. So I called the insurance and said, hey guys, I would like to reinstate my insurance. I really need this stuff. And they go, well, you have to pay back the premiums that you missed, those payments. Anything, I got to get rid of this pain. What do I owe? They're like $211. I was like, oh my God. So there was my credit card with zero balance on it, right? And I gave them my credit card, and I paid my premium, and they go, okay. And I go, great. I'm going to run to the dentist. I'm going to set up an appointment. They go, oh, it takes 3 to 5 days to reinstate it, to kick it in. 3 to 5 days before I can even get any work done. So I'm like, oh my God, what in the world do I do with this pain and everything? So they said, you go to the ER, they'll give you antibiotics, and they'll give you something for pain. So that's what I did. I went to the ER, got antibiotics, and I've been waiting for my insurance to kick in. It might kick in as early as tomorrow. Tomorrow's the 4th day. I've been in pain for 3 days, and today is my first. Well, last night was the first night that it subsided, and I've been without pain. It's just been uncomfortable and tender. If I eat something too hard on that side, I'll feel tender. But anyway, yeah. So toothaches are no joke, guys. Like I have a high pain threshold because I've been through, chemotherapy. I've been through heart failure treatments. All that. I was in boxing. I've been hit, punched in the face. I mean, look at my face. It's been hit. It's obvious, right? And so, none of that. I mean, I broke my nose. I had my nose broken 3 times, and still the worst pain ever in my life. Toothache. And I'm sure there are women out there going, that's nothing to childbirth. I don't know if childbirth is as bad as that toothache or worse. Yeah. No. I would never have kids. I would never be able to have kids. Oh no. Nah. Not me, be like, but hey, stop doing that. She does this every time. My I don't know if you can see her. No, you can't see her, but we have a really cool guard dog down there. You see her? She came and nudged me, like she's like, hey, pet monkey, massage your highness right here. Your highness needs a massage. Needs to be pet. I think she thinks I'm her pet, her slave. She's like, I want to be pet. Get that arm up there. So anyway, it's a lot of pain, everything. It's been a couple of days, and that's why I'm putting together some artwork. I'm going to put it up for sale to cover what I have to spend just on that, plus the procedure itself that I'm going to get done, a root canal. I'm going to get a crown, all that stuff. That's a lot of money, even with insurance. It's still a lot. So, so in the meantime, I'm just going to get a temporary fill and get some work done and get a temporary until I can raise enough money to get that done. So in the meantime, I don't want to do a GoFundMe, stuff like that. I like to produce artwork, give people some stuff and people to buy some work. I work, people. I work. I got pride. I don't, I'll work. I will draw for money. That's what I do. And let's see what you guys are, if I missed any of you guys. The Art and Jay of Times of Jay Ryan says, hope you feel better soon. Mortal V says, ooh, that must have been incredibly painful. Yeah, I can't even describe it. Like when I say painful, there's a medication, hydrocodone, which I'm not promoting meds or anything on here. I mean it's medication, but I'm not saying. I'm just saying, it makes me sick. I can't take it. But because I'm a heart failure patient on blood thinners, I can't take anything other than Tylenol. So they said, this is your option, that or Tylenol. And I said, I'm taking Tylenol. That stuff makes me sick. I took Tylenol. It did nothing for the pain. I went back to the ER and said, oh my God, like some druggie, like, come on, man, give me the hydrocodone, man. I need it, and just begging for it. I don't know if they thought I was druggy or something, but I was telling them how much pain I was in. They knew, I was there, and I had turned down the hydrocodone, and I said, I've given in. There's so much pain. I need it. Like when you're pregnant, about to give birth, and you're like, I don't want the epidural. I don't want the spinal tap. And then you're in so much pain. Give me the epidural. And that was my first wife with our first child. Second time around, she was already plugged in. She said, I already got the hookup. Just hook up the epidural. I'm ready. I know this. I know how this goes. Not my first rodeo. And so, I gave in to it. It was in so much pain. I took the hydrocodone. It made me sick. I was nauseated, throwing up all night, just throwing up. But it got rid of the pain. That's all that I was like, I will take. It's like the most pain you will ever experience in your life, or vomiting uncontrollably for about 4 hours straight. Which will you take? What would you take, guys? I took the vomiting. At first I was like, I'll just take the pain. Vomiting is disgusting. And I was like, nah. Throwing up, I made a mess in the bathroom. Poor Anna, she cleaned it up. She's an amazing wife. And she's making me a snack right now. So I'm going to get rolling, guys. I'm going to see if I can know how to end this stream here. It's a new software. Trying that. Peter Watts says, would you rather? Yeah, which one would you guys do? I'm curious, man. Phil Semel says, a snack? Amazing. Yeah, I need to continue to snack, to keep my metabolism going. I got to keep, protein. I'm trying to maintain at this weight. The side effect of the diabetic medications is weight loss. So, I can't lose too much. But, he says, what a good wife. Yeah. Here's the good wife bringing the thing. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Look at that. No, I'm out. Yeah. So there's the beautiful Anna Havana bring me the drink, and my dog following because she smells the food. She's like, what are you making me? But yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it. You guys are all amazing. Anna's got her birthday coming up this month. So we're super excited. I keep clicking the wrong thing. We are super excited. But thanks again, guys, for backing Dragon Rage. It's right there above me. You guys see it. It's a reality now. I'm going to stream more. You guys be able to see this. Eventually, I'm going to need to bring on a guest. So I'm going to need somebody to volunteer, be a guest, get on the stream with me so I can learn. Bringing on guests on here is different on this software. So I've got to learn how to do that. So I need a volunteer later. Maybe I'll get Anna to come on as a guest for me. But all right, thanks a lot, guys. You guys all have a good evening. You guys are amazing. And I'm going to say goodbye to you guys. So I'm going to click end the stream. If it doesn't end, I don't know if it takes a few seconds in delay. If it takes a little while to stream and you start watching me eating this hot dog, I know you guys are going to make jokes about this big, girthy sausage in a bun that I'm about to eat. It's for protein. Good protein. Good night, guys. You guys are wonderful.